here with Scrap and Abby, and I'm back with another design team project for Mon Ami Gabby. I don't have the unboxing for my most latest kit edited yet, but I will get this up on my YouTube channel either before or directly after this video. But this is what I received, and of course in the unboxing it's much better presented because her team puts it together really cute when they send it to you. I just dumped it into this larger tote for the time being so I can kind of really dig around and kind of find what pieces and elements I want to use. So there's just a lot of really beautiful appliques, pieces of jute. There's some Chinese braid. There's, you know, this beautiful applique here. Look at that. That is absolutely gorgeous. I've got some punchinella, some, you know, the sheets of the bling, and just some really fun sparkly trims. And this is Italian. This is the metallic, but this is the Italian crepe paper she gets. This stuff is amazing. I love that stuff. So just all kinds of really fun items to use in here. And what I'm going to be making for one of my projects for her team, and this is also was in the kit, I just like to have a dish off to the side so I can dump all the little bits and bobs pieces in so I can kind of pick through what I want, and then they don't get lost in the mix when I'm doing that. And then I'll put it back in the bag that comes with the kit. So part of the kit that came, or this particular kit, were 3 of these postcards in the envelopes, and these are, you know, just one sheet, so they're kind of like the postcard. My thought process is for this particular project is to create some Valentine cards using these embellishments and with the addition of some other elements in my craft stash to kind of go with it. So like I have some tissue paper here, and just some various bits and bobs of things that I have. Oh, some sequins too. These are actually from Mon Ami Gabby too. I might want to incorporate some of these. And I'm going to be using, as far as adhesives, the Mon Ami Gabby adhesives here. And then I'm going to use some glue and seal to kind of, you know, put the tissue paper down on the card or whatever. So I wanted to say that if you are single or whatever, Valentine's, you know, doesn't need to be just for couples or, you know, partners, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. It can be like love for a really good friend, you know, coworkers, whatever. Because I remember when I was, even in high school, my girlfriends and I, we would always get each other little things of like chocolates or something like that, and we would just give it out of friendship. So I don't want to exclude anybody from this type of a project because you're thinking I'm single, you know, because you can definitely do this for those reasons I just mentioned. Or, you know, you can, I don't know, I mean, my mom used to give me Valentine's up until I graduated and moved out of the house. You know, I used to get candies and a card from her and stuff like that. So they can be, you know, a Valentine's or just kind of a love, friendship love type of project as well. So clearly I cannot pile all of this goodiness onto this little card because it's a pretty small real estate or a little bit of you know, area to work and craft in. But this is just going to be one of the several projects I have in mind where I'm using this particular kit. So that's what this particular video is about, is just creating that. So I will come back on and do some process portions as I'm kind of working on this. And then if I remember, because I do stop and start a lot because I have to, you know, stop because of my chronic pain from my trigeminal neuralgia and my anesthesia dolorosa. So I have to stop. I can't craft nonstop like I used to do. So I will try to remember to turn the camera on when I'm doing some, you know, fun techniques or something I think that maybe somebody doesn't know how to do. Maybe they're a new crafter or whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and just get started, and I will see you ladies at the end of the video. Bye. so here are the completed cards that I made for you, and I did forget to turn the camera on when I was making the third one, so I'm so sorry about that. I did turn it back on, I think, when I was making this. When I was doing quite a bit on this one, and I think when I made the flower and something else, I can't remember exactly. I'll have to go back and obviously watch it when I edit the video, but I do apologize. I did try to show you some of the different ways that I use the different elements from Mon Ami Gabby. So before I get into the cards real quickly, the adhesive line in the extreme tack squares, this stuff works amazingly, and that's what the line looks like. I tried to show that in the process video, and that's what I use to put these trims down here. And then I think that was it. Everything else I used was the tack squares. So I just really like how well that works in the ink, in case it went too fast, because I do get some people asking me the ink. It's that one. And for the edging, I used my frayed burlap, which is like my main one I use. One pack of tags I forgot to share with you. I did use one of these, and this is something I got from the Target Dollar Spot. And then the other tags, this is from Walmart, or excuse me, Dollar Tree. And then this one I got as a gift from somebody. It's from Hampton Art. And I got this in a Happy Meal package. And these are really super cute. And I just liked how that turned into like a little pocket for this. So what I'll go ahead and do is just kind of bring in one card, and we can kind of talk about it and go from there. So the first one, I love this flower. Normally I make my own, but this one was in my design team, or my not my design team kit, but in the monthly kit, and it is so pretty. I love it, and I thought this was really just a good way to kind of add a lot of layers and textures to this one. So I have these two tags here. Let me pull this out here, and this one says Miss You, and it's got a little bit of their bling on there. And then I stapled, I mean, I tied it through, but I like the way the staples look. I always do that on most of my projects. I like the look of the staples. And then the smaller one that's from the Dollar Tree says Love You. And there's that. And so it kind of tucks into this nice little pocket. And I was trying to play around when I didn't have the camera on. I was curious. I didn't think it would fit, and it doesn't. I mean, it just, if it was just like incy bit wider, you could probably fit in a gift card. And that's what I was thinking for these pockets, which I thought would be kind of a cool way to turn this, you know, just from a, you know, kind of a friendship hello card into also use something where you could give as a gift if you tuck, but you could like tuck some like a $5 bill, or I don't know, you know, even a check if it's for like family or whatever, you could do that too. So I thought that was really cute. And it's like how it wrapped around the different twines, or excuse me, the twine right here, and then the different ribbon here. I think it just looks really cute. And that tissue paper I use, that's left over from some wrapping I was doing for Christmas. So I never waste anything. That's why I always tell you ladies, always keep your scraps, because you never know when you can use them, which is the case with this one. Of course, I buried it so much you can barely see it peeking through, but I had a little bit left of that same tissue paper, and then I just lined it with the different trims and cording from Mon Ami Gabby. It's really pretty. And this is that flower. That's that wire edge. I'm going to show you one more time just in case because I don't remember when I get done with the videos what I show you in the process. So I wanted to show it to you really quickly. Sorry, has something stuck to it. So this is, I love this stuff. This is some of the wire edge kind of gold mesh that Marina has in her shop, and I just, as you saw in the process part, I just cut it down, and then I just treat it like it was any length of ribbon or lace or whatever, and you can make a really cute flower. You know, and then I just added one of the bling pieces in the center from Mon Ami Gabby. This is that paper that I shared with you. That's from, it's the Black and Ivory French script, and it's from Canvas Core. And I actually bought a pack of that from Tuesday morning. So I just folded that over. Just used the edge of my paintbrush and just curled the edges up, inked it, and put the sentiment there. And I think it just kind of adds another layer of visual interest. I like that. And then here's some more of that same gold meshing where I cut the edges off, the wire edges, and just kind of laid it there just to kind of, you know, give a little bit of, I guess, more texture. And then up here in the corner, you can see the sequins. I just kind of stacked those up in one little clump right there, like layer, 2 layers, you know. And I think that kind of looks cool. Kind of draws your eyes, I think, from this being the focal to kind of up there, and it kind of completes it. I don't know. That's what I think and say in my head. I don't know if that makes sense when I say it out loud. And then for my last one, I used the Thinking of You and Smiling. And then I just took some of that this jute cording. I love that stuff. And all I did was just lay down. Oh, this is where else I used the line tape, the adhesive line from Mon Ami Gabby. I ended up putting, I think 3 or 4 strips of that just butted up next to each other. And then I just took the cording and just laid it down, snipped it, flipped it over this way, snipped it, and just kept kind of doing that with it. And you can kind of see that layering kind of technique, and I like that. Oopsie. I like that. I think it turns out really, really cute, and this kind of adds a little bit of something to that tag where it's not just so such a white, stark space, you know, because you have the sentiment here, you have the jute twine kind of here, but I wanted, there was a kind of dead space there to me, and I wanted a little something, so I just added that. And then this, the flat back pearl mesh that you see, or trim, this is from a prior kit, but you can get this. This is also from Mon Ami Gabby, as well as the flower. This crochet flower, that's also from there too. It wasn't in the monthly kit I showed you, but I got that in a prior design team box. And I just layered that because I just kind of wanted that pop of red a little bit. I was worried that it was getting to be like, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't like to say this word because I don't like to say the Lord's name in vain, and it feels like it's saying that. I know it's not spelled the same, but in my head it just bothers me. But I've heard people use the phrase that it's gaudy, like it's real whatever. So I was worried that it was going to look like that if I added too many more layers to that. So I just kind of tried to reserve myself and did that. And so now I have a space on the back of each of these cards, and where I can take some lined paper or some really pretty cardstock, and I can write out my sentiment to whoever these are going to go to, and then I'll simply use a couple of those adhesive squares, one on each corner, and then just set it on here. Not a problem. And if you're wondering, you know, like, let me grab the chunkiest one, I guess probably this one. You're like, well, how would I get that down flat or flush or whatever? Well, you know, I would just lay it down, and I'm gonna, like, you know, and put the adhesive dots maybe you know, on the back of the paper with the writing face down, and just take this and kind of place it on there, and you can press it on there and be fine. I also forgot to share that part. I wrapped this around the back intentionally because when you do tuck a piece of paper in, now let me grab this here. This is obviously not the right size. It's not the right width. I don't think it may not go under, but it's kind of like a belly band, and that's something I like to make in my mini albums and journals and things like that. It's not going to fit. It's a little bit too wide, but you kind of get the idea that when I do get the proper size paper that I want to use to write my message on, it'll kind of slay underneath there, and I think that looks really cool when you can see it through there. So that's why I did that. Just because I knew it was going to kind of go wrap around the back side. So I hope that you ladies enjoyed the process video, and kind of me talking you through the cards and kind of my thought process for each of these. Now, of course, these are too chunky to fit into the envelope. This one probably fit, but it's probably a little bit too much. But that's okay, because my intention was to actually send it in something a little bit larger than an envelope, because I'm going to include some chocolates or something with each of these cards as I mail them out to some friends who shall remain unnamed, because they may or may not be watching. So anyway, that's why they're a little bit thick if you're worried about that, you know. And this is pretty much true to form for Abby here. I like things that have a lot of layers, a lot of texture, real thick. I love that on my projects. So please comment below and let me know if I went through anything too quickly. Maybe you didn't catch something in the process portion and you're wondering how I did it or why I did it. Please let me know in the comment section below. And also go check out the Mon Ami Gabby website. I of course will put a link in the description box below, as well as a link to the Facebook group that Marina has put together. And it's just a place for all of us, whether you're a designer like I am or you're a customer, which I was since like 2010-11, long before Marina asked me to be on her team. I was a very loyal customer, and I love her goodies. And you can search my YouTube channel and you can find videos way back to 2011 at least, and products, videos where I'm using her stuff, or I did a Mon Ami Gabby haul or something like that. It's just a really nice collective place for all of us to share our different projects. And you know, maybe you want to do a video of unboxing your monthly kit, or whatever random things you bought from Marina. That's a cool place to share it. We all like to see that, and I think it'd be a fun place to connect with you ladies, not only from my YouTube channel but also there too. So if you do join, and I hope that you do, please tag me, or just or you know, in the Facebook group, and or you can just even say Scrap and Abby, you know, from our YouTube channel, because I'll see that, because I do look at that group at least once a day, if not twice, just to try to make sure I'm not missing out anything. So with all that said, you know, go check out the store. And I'm thinking about actually, I'm going to save that for another video. Let me just backtrack that. So that is going to be it, ladies. So thank you so much for watching. Happy scrapping, happy planning, and happy crafting, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.